although the expectation here in Minnesota, with the ice rain, with a huge snowstorm, with bad weather, you name it. You can keep on and on and on, yet you decided to be here tonight in that event where we will be discussing a topic. I cannot say anything about it unless I read your input and your answers to specific questions, so we will be able to answer them, inshallah. The topic tonight, as we can see, the Muslim families, challenges and solution, and we'll put it in its Islamic perspective. When I thought about this topic, to be honest with you, I have seen for so many years, being a psychotherapist, dealing with a lot of family issues and counseling, you name it, marriage and instability in marriage, and some disputes, some argument, some even divorce cases. And it is time now to discuss it in public rather than having it in one-on-one counseling. Not to be away from that responsibility, but it is too much to handle. So I thought, why not we have it in a form or format of presentation, workshop, discussion, and so on and so forth. Mainly, I will not put specific issues to talk about, but to have that survey that we have filled out already to answer that two critical questions. One is, my family needs counseling. And you would, yes or no? And what challenges, this is the other question, what challenges your family has. And whatever you put in here as challenges your family has, we will be discussing. So that survey would reflect what you have, instead of me telling you, here are the issues I am thinking about. No, it is your input, your answering to those questions on the survey in here. I have some in front of me in here, and I can tell, and some of them are saying, yes, my family needs counseling. We have, many of you are married, many of you are not, which is fine. But your answer to those questions, what the challenges your family has. I had one, saying that kids who are stubborn, a husband who is not happy with my appearance and treat me like a kid instead of an adult. So this is one issue in here. Another issue, everyone getting along, mothers and children. Does it mean not getting along with the husband? I'm not sure. Return the kids with our values, cultures that are different from the U.S. values and culture. Wait. Our challenges, iPad, Facebook generation. These are wonderful issues in here to tackle and to have an answer for all of them. And of course we'll have discussion and we'll have your questions again, or your input or your discussion. Let me take this one first. iPad, Facebook generation. We cannot ignore the fact that this is the time of the iPad, of the Facebook, of the social media, of you name it. It's part of our life, no doubt about it. how we teach ourselves first, parents, to be a role model in that area, and then when the children around us, they would learn from us. It is not for me to spend hours and hours as a dad or a mom or parents in front of my laptop or my iPad, doing social media and Facebook and so on and so forth. But when my kids would do the same, I would say, don't do that. No, I have to be consistent. If I'm doing something, I am, as parents, mom and dad, the role model for my children. Whatever I do, they copy me. They imitate me. They would love to do. And sometimes they would come and tell me that, oh Dad, but you're doing the same. Why not me? Whatever the excuses you do have as parents, whatever the solutions you do have for them, whatever the convincing ideas, no, I don't have homework, no, I don't have anything to do, but you have school work, you have to be done first, and so on and so on. They do not buy all of those answers from us. No, you can say, okay, maybe all of us as a family, mom, dad, you two, work designate like half an hour or 45 minutes or 1 hour, depending on your time availability, to say this would be our social media interaction, this would be iPad, this would be the Facebook, and so on and so on. Once we're done, let's go back to our normal things to do, whether it's work or taking a break or doing this and that. But anyhow, the main issue is there, who is the role model for my children? That's mom and dad. And if you'd like them to follow exactly what you'd like them to do, you start with yourself first. You do the good things in front of them so they will never complain, telling you that, no, Dad, you do this, or Mom, you do this, and so on and so forth. I'm not going to hide this from you, but I have to tell you this. Here in our community, within the Muslim community, I have seen families bringing their children and complaining that their children have been, and listen to that word, addicted to iPad, Facebook, social media, and so on and so forth. What do we mean by addiction in here? We know the concept of addiction, but when it comes to drugs, when it comes to whatever, now those social media and stuff, the kids, and here I'm talking about 11-year-old kid, 12-year-old kid, 13-year-old kid, addicted, meaning ignoring totally the schoolwork. Don't do any schoolwork. More than that, they do not even want to go to school, because at home they have the iPad, they have the laptop, and they could spend, time and do a lot of things and so on and so forth. How you deal with those situations? How you convince those kids, what you're doing is not good, here's your job, here's what you have to do, here's the purpose of your life, and so on and so forth. Very epidemic now among many children. Second, say 1 hour for all of us, and we agree upon that. But what I'm going to watch while I'm in front of that iPad or the laptop? It's more critical, more important than the time allowed to spend on those things. We all know. You can have what you can imagine and even beyond your imagination through all of those technology. You can go from this website to that website to that website, but which one is going to benefit me as a child and which one is going to harm me, is going to cripple my life, is going to take me to something I will never be able to fix down the road except by the help and grace and the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Our children, once they are in that second part of watching things, I don't have to say what it is, but anything harmful to them, mentally, psychologically, emotionally, academically, their stability, their view of the world around them, their relationship with the opposite sex, their relationship with the same sex, the relationship with their classmates, the relationship with their siblings, the relationship with their parents, the relationship with the whole universe around them, how much of knowledge they are going to get out of watching those things comparing to what I am learning from my parents. It is a serious matter. And we have to pay our attention to such a thing. Say, for the sake of argument, I found out that my children, the time issue, were able to handle it. By convincing, take your time, have an agreement, and so on and so forth. Even have it written agreement is what we have to abide by. On his side, dad, and on his side, mom, and my children's side. This is what you have to abide by. And put a reward and punishment. Whoever is abiding by the rules and regulations within the family is going to be rewarded such and such, and point out something. Like say, we're going to have dinner outside. We're going to have fun somewhere. We're going to do this. We're going to go for a trip if we accumulated many points within like 2 months and so on and so forth. So the reward and punishment is there. The punishment, you can say, okay, if you're doing this, you're not listening, you're not abiding by the time, you're not going to have that access to the iPad anymore, or to that laptop anymore. Oh, Dad, Mom, I have homework I have to do. Okay, fine, fine. But assure me that it is the purpose of the homework or the assignment for the school. Not to have it for the homework and I can do behind your back something else. Make sure this is what has to be done and have the truthfulness preview. Let them tell you the truth. Do not manipulate the situation. Do not lie to you, saying that it's Dad, Mom, it's schoolwork. I have to spend like at least 2 hours in that assignment. Okay, that's fine. Once in a while I check with them, what's going on, what's happening. I'm not spying on you, but how much you accomplished in that homework. How much you have been doing. And nothing wrong with this. Nothing wrong with this. Say, for the sake of argument as well, you find out that they are indulged in that very bad behavior, watching bad things, watching nasty things, and so on and so forth. How you handle it? How you take care of it? The best way to deal with how much of Deen, how much of Islam you're teaching your children. Say pornography. What Islam is saying about it? Bad things. What Islam is saying about it? If you know the answer from Islam, Alhamdulillah. If you do not know, consult with an expert. Ask him or them, what do you think of that issue when I find out that my children have been watching? How I handle that situation. Ask an expert. And he would tell you what to do. But if you want to do it in your own, the best way to convince your children to abide by specific things in order to overcome this, it is not, son, daughter, you're my son, you're my daughter, I love you so much, I do my best to teach you the best thing ever. Mom would say the same thing. Some of our children say, but Dad, Mom, I can convince you totally the opposite. So we have now two polite argument. Is your view, is their view. And sometimes they are smart enough to tell you, Dad, you're wrong. I'm right. Okay, that's not your view, that's not my view, but it is the Islamic perspective. Is what Islam is saying. Is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying. Is what Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is teaching, is saying. You abide by the teaching of Islam, or you're objecting and you disobey. Most of the time, I would say, our children will never say, no, Dad, I'm not going to follow what Allah is saying. As long as you put it in its wonderful and a great way as an advice, not as an order. Not as an order. Don't give orders and commands to the children. Never. Sit down and talk to them. Say his 6-year-old, his 7-year-old, his 11-year-old, his 12-year-old, before that teenager. Deal with him as a friend. If you think he's a child and does not understand what you're saying, you're mistaken. They do understand really well. That's why even Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam أربوهم لسبع وعلموهم لسبع وصاحبوهم لسبع واتركوا لهم الحبل على الغارب فإنهم خلقوا لزمان غير زمانكم. In that saying, in that teaching of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, yani discipline them first 7 years. You do this, you do not do this, you abide by this, you do not do that, you know. Here's Islam, here's what you can learn, and so on and so forth. Second 7, teaching. But mainly teaching Islam. They will learn at school, no doubt. You're not the teacher at home. You're helping with their homework and schoolwork and so on and so forth. But you're teaching them the other things around them. You tell them about the cultural norms we do have, what Islam is all about, what the saying of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, how you abide by the deen, how you implant all of those teaching of deen, you know, during those years. Now his or she's reaching 14 years of his or her age. Has not your child anymore to treat him as a child or as a daughter. No, friend, with the full meaning of it. Friendship. Friendship. And you tell him or tell her, you're my friend. Literally, Dad? Yeah. Seriously, Dad? Yeah. You mean it, Dad? Yes. You are friends. He would have that mutual trust and tell you about the secrets of his life or her life. Most of the time, the daughters will speak to their moms, though some of them will speak to their dad. But in general, within the Muslim community, it's girls with their moms and boys with their dads. And they'll tell, okay, Dad, here's what I have, or Mom, here's what I have. How can I handle this? How can I do it? Okay, let's sit down, let's talk about it. Assuring them one thing. What you're telling me, what you're sharing with me is private. With 100% confidentiality. Tell them, even your mom, I'm not going to discuss this with mom, those issues, unless and until you give me the consent to do it. So now you're building that mutual trust with them. They would open up and say, Dad, you're not going to tell anyone? No. And in the meantime, tell him some of your private things. Say, you know what? I do such and such, and I do such and such. I trust you, and you will never disclose all of those things. I can tell you about our finance. I can tell you how much money you owe for this and that, to teach you that responsibility, and so on and so forth. So we're having that mutual trust built. You're having those bridge of discussing things, and you discuss everything, and no, I would say, restrictions on anything. Everything is open for discussion after the age of 14. This is what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did. This is what he said. This is what he taught us. How come I would borrow some other Western psychology or Western norms or Western, education to tell me, here's how you deal with your son and daughter and so on and so forth. Forget it. Islam. Islam. So, mainly I would say this is what I would share with you. I will stop at that point, but I will open the floor for some of your comments or some of your questions or any clarification of what I have said so far. Questions?
هي مقولة لا يؤذنك سبعا وصاحبه سبعا وأدبه سبعا ثم تطلع الحبل على غريب وعلى حسن فيها مقولة سيدنا علي بن أبي طالب رضي الله عنه.
It could be. Wallahi, I had been searching that on the question of prior time or the comment. You said, this is saying of Ali ibn Abi Talib radiallahu anhu. I had been struggling with this saying. That's why you remember I said it's saying. What would be the authentic source of it? I have heard some, as you said, scholar is Ali ibn Abi Talib radiallahu anhu. Some other scholars are saying Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu. Some other people, it is an authentic hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but the narration and stuff, have to. Some scholars are saying this is not hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But say it is not hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It is a saying of Ali, or a saying of Umar, or a saying of some other Sahaba. Does it make sense to you?
Yes.
When you think about it,
yes.
In fact, yeah, it does. It does. And developmental wise, and when we think about 777, and very consistent with that number 7 in the Holy Universe. Right? It's not 6, it's not 5. How many samawat? How many ard? It goes in a lot of things in the teaching of Islam, 777. Subhanallah. Good comment. Jazakallah khair. Yeah.
Thank you. Second question. What if the kid doesn't listen at all? Even if you take this kid as a friend and you talk and you struggle with for years and he never listens, what's the person should do?
Okay. One alternative would be, now we're talking about dad and has not listened to dad. Let mom try. Okay? Say it doesn't work. You, as a husband, mom, as a wife, sit down together and say, here's what I said. Here's what you said. Is there anything for both of us to educate ourselves more about, to read more about it, to consult with someone else about it? And you come back to the child and say, here's what we found out. And it's both of you. And by the way, be very, very sensitive, because the son or daughter will think it is two instead of one, so you're more powerful. You seek some power from someone else because you couldn't make it. So in their eyes, in their perception, dad couldn't make it. So now he's seeking for more power. Now he's more powerful. It is now 2 against 1. It's dad and mom against me. Do not let them feel that. I'm still your dad, he's your mom, and we're doing this for the sake of your future, for your safety, security, for your development, and so on and so forth. Say, may Allah forbid, you could not do anything. Now we have to consult with, I'm going to say this out loud, with the Muslim psychologist or Muslim psychotherapist who is really aware of what is going on, and he has that Islamic perspective to issues. We have, it's really, subhanAllah, we have many Muslims who are being practiced. When it comes to Islam, they are very agitated. Never mention the word of Islam. Never. In their therapy or in their counseling. I know them by names. Okay? And I wouldn't deal with this. Say you go to an American psychologist or even psychiatrist or psychotherapist. How much do they know about us as Muslims? How much do they know about our norms and about our cultural background and so on and so forth? You're really struggling with them and they are really struggling with you. That's why I do have, wallahi, many referrals from American professionals who are in the field. They refer some cases to me and say, we cannot do anything with it. It takes much, much longer than it would take with someone who is aware, a Muslim who is aware of those issues. Referral system is there, and your communication as well. You communicate with people in the field around you and say, if you want to have some guidance in that issue, I am willing. I'm a consultant, for how many clinics here in Minnesota? I can name some. U of M is one. St. Thomas is one. Augsburg University is another one. And even within churches and synagogues, I can give you a list of names, and we've been consulting with each other. And to tell you the truth, I'm learning a lot from them. I'm learning a lot from them. How you handle that situation. Because this is new to me. I have never dealt with that situation before. And I learn from them, and I take it and put it in its Islamic perspective. Say, what Islam is saying about this issue. Because what they shared with me is a Jewish perspective, or the Christian perspective, or atheist perspective. I will put it in what I call, about what I'm practicing, the non-conventional approach. It is not that relying, and I say, like many counselors, many psychologists, many psychotherapists say, I'm following the psychoanalysis, Freudian, I'm nothing, or the new Freudian, or that behavioral approach, or the cognitive, and so on and so on. And they stick with this one, and they are not that flexible. It does not help. For some of them, they say, this is my career, this is what I have to focus on, but for me, it's non-conventional. Whatever I would have benefiting our clients from the Western psychology, but I have to put it in its Islamic perspective, and you can go. So you do your best as a dad, as a mom, both of you as parents. Nothing, I read about it, I consult, I do this, I do that. Now we have to talk to a therapist to find out what is going on. Be patient enough, find out what should be done, and you can keep going, inshallah. What else? Any more questions? Any more concerns? Start as early as you can. Don't wait till they are like 5, 6. No way. Even with 3-year-old, start having a dialogue. Listen from them and so on and so on. So this is one issue. Something also related to the kids and the family, kids who are stubborn, husband who not happy with my appearance and treat me like a kid instead of as an adult. Kids who are stubborn, start with this point first. What is the definition of a kid being stubborn? Disobedient, does not listening, do not take any advice seriously, or do not listen, or I do whatever I want to do and you do not teach me, you do not help me in anything. It depends first on that developmental stage that kid is in, like how old is he or how old is she. And second, again and again, what teaching Islam that kid has. Say, are you listening to me as dad and mom, or you're not listening? Are you willing to hear what I'm saying? And I need an answer from you. But again and again and again, as long as you start saying to them and convincing them with I capitalized, I am telling you, I do, I ask you, most of the time they won't listen. No, let's sit down and discuss it. What do you think? Hear from him or her first. Find out what's your point. You convince me. You tell me. Okay? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created us with 2 ears and 1 tongue. Though that tongue is, subhanAllah, very, very, very active, 100 times as much as the ears. We're not listening. We're not trained to listen. Listen to them. Let them say, keep asking questions, not offended questions. But ask them, what do you think of this? What do you teach me more? I want to learn. I want to know your perspective. I want to understand where you're coming from. What background? Where you learn this? Who taught you this? Where you get it from? Classmate, from a friend, from the neighborhood, from somewhere else? You understand. So at least you would know, or you're aware of the whole picture. And then you can start discussing. So you'll be eliminating that stubbornness, somehow. The second one, as I mentioned before, try to eliminate your opinion as much as you can, but go back to Islam. Here's what Islam says. Here's what I can do. And easily, wallahi, and subhanAllah, Rabbil Alameen, to learn from Islam. You want to learn the story of Sayyidina Yaqub, alayhi salam, with his 12 kids, including Yusuf, alayhi salam, and Binyamin, who came from one mother, while the other 10 ones came from other ones, and how much of jealousy, how much of envy, how much of, you name it, they had toward Yusuf, alayhi salam. And how Sayyidina Yusuf advised, how Sayyidina Yaqub advised Yusuf alayhi salam not to share that dream with him that he shared with his dad, seeing the moon and stars are bowing down to me and so on and so on. Don't tell your brother, otherwise they will plot against you, and this is exactly what happened. Subhanallah. So, you learn from Sayyidina Yaqub how he has dealt with that situation. Till the point that he lost his vision. وَبِيَضَّتْ عَيْنَهُ مِنَ الْحُزْنِ. Eyes, his vision, completely white. Meaning, وَبْيَضَّتْ here in that wonderful concept of the Quran, 100% losing his sight. That is not a matter of, I can see a little here, no, وَبْيَضَّتْ عَيْنَاهُ مِنَ الْحُزْنِ. Subhanallah. If you see anyone blind and you look carefully, as if they are white, 100%, it means vision is done. And the likelihood of that vision to be returned is 0. Is done. Of being sad and in grief, because Yusuf no longer there. And his brother, Binyamin, as Yusuf told them, I I would love for you to stay with me. And because of what happened to Yusuf alayhi salam from his brothers. And this will tell you the relationship between brothers. There how they treat each other. But me as a parent, Sayyidina Yusuf يعني came to the man and said, فَصَبْرٌ جَمِيلٌ فَصَبْرٌ جَمِيلٌ. And subhanAllah, when you look at that two words in the Quran, when Sayyidina Yaqub alayhi salam said, فَصَبْرٌ جَمِيلٌ. Sabr, being patient, steadfastly. Literal translation to the word jameel is what?
Beautiful.
Beautiful. How come the patient will be beautiful? Does it make sense?
Yeah.
How?
Beautifully patient. You're so
Beautifully
patient.
How to be beautifully patient?
Ah.
This is the issue now. How to be beautifully patient. SubhanAllah, the deep meaning of that one. Beautifully patient, whatever is happening to you, whatever is caused to you by someone else, within the family or anywhere else, you do not share it with anyone around you. You do not complain about it. You do not ask for any help from anyone about it. And if you look at the rest of the ayah, Wallahu musta'an. The only one who can help me is Allah. This is sabr jameel. With your son and daughter, sabrun jameel. Sabrun jameel. Be patient. Whatever they do, stubborn, this is an easy one to deal with. Here they want to kill Yusuf alayhi salam when they threw him away in the depth of the well, in the middle of the night, 12-year-old, and they left him. And coming to their dad, lying. You see, فَأَكَلَهُ الذِّئْبُ, a wolf have devoured him. وَجَاءُوا عَلَى قَمِيصِهِ بِدَمٍ كَذِبٍ. In order to prove to their father that it is a wolf has devoured him, and will bring you the evidence, the proof. Look at the blood in his shirt after the wolf have devoured him. كذب. يعني jealousy, revenge, committing a crime, and كذب to their father. Yet, Sayyidina Yaqub, وَصَبْرٌ جَمِيلٌ. وَصَبْرٌ جَمِيلٌ. When you're a child, صَبْرٌ جَمِيلٌ. Be patient. As much as you can. As hard as you can. As elegant as you can. Like Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam. You want to go on and on and on with the story in chapter 12 in the Quran. We learn from Islam now in order to have my family and my children disciplined, not from anyone else. To learn from. And subhanAllah, Rabbil Alamin, that chapter 12, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala intentionally revealed to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam to calm him down, to comfort him, telling him, Muhammad, what happened to you? Here's what happened to Yaqub. Here's what happened to Yusuf. Here's what happened to Benjamin, his brother. Here's what happened from the 10 brothers there, and what happened later. In order to comfort Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, to give him that tranquility and so on and so forth, for us, we have to learn from it. If you don't like the story of Sayyidina Yusuf, go to Nuh alayhi salam with his son. Full disobedient. Come and join us in that.